Welcome to Plan Watch Walk, the channel that brings you some of the best walking around. If you like what we do, why not subscribe and hit the bell? And also mention it to some of your fellow walkers. They might find some of the resources useful and interesting as well. What a great day's walking we've got ahead of us. We start off from Ingram and we pick up the northern fells of Ingram Valley, passing Ravenhill, cutting across to Curran Crag before dropping down into Hartside Farm. We then pick up the southern side of the valley, passing over the river Breamish. We then get up onto the fells, cutting across through some forestry area, over Chester's Burn, continuing over the fells with some great views back over the valley with Hartside Hill, and then we eventually drop back down into Ingram after a great day's walk. We're starting today's walk just at the car park before we get into Ingram itself. Got a beautiful day for the walk. We need to be heading back over the bridge that we've come across, heading back up the road just a wee bit, and we're going to be picking up a small road and heading up into the hills. So we've just come along from the bridge, maybe just a couple of 100 metres, and we've got the signage ahead of us here. We need to turn, as we're coming from the bridge, we need to turn left, and we're going to be heading up the road here. Well, we're only a quarter of an hour or so into the walk, and you can probably hear the peace, the tranquility, and the scenery's becoming quite fabulous already. So we come up past the farm, which we've passed on our right. I'm heading across here. We can see the signage here for the public right of way, and we've got Ravenhill 1 mile. That's our next point of interest. So we just follow the path straight ahead of us, climbing ever so slightly along the way. So as we've walked up from the farm, which is pretty much centre of picture ahead of us, starting to see some of the beautiful scenery up here in Ingram Valley. So we've just had quite a steady climb up. As we come to the stile ahead of us, keep walking over that, keep taking the path slightly off to the right, and we've got some of it ahead of us, which is at 301 metres, and the path itself we want to follow. It's heading up slightly to the right, up towards this what appears to be some disused farm buildings. We're going to be heading up there, and we're going to be heading round, pretty sure round behind the fells ahead of us. Lots to look forward to. We've left the stile we've gone over. We've headed across the fells here. As we know, as you keep walking and keep climbing, although it's quite a steady incline, you get different views along the way, which is just fantastic. So here ahead of us we've got a stile to head over, and then we've got this small disused farming building up ahead of us, which we'll be walking around the side of. Well, we've just come over Ravenhill, which we can see ahead of us. We've dropped down over a small stream, and we're now heading up towards the Dodd. We've got a disused sheep pen on our right here, and we just need to keep following the track. As I say, the tracks aren't particularly well defined, so we need to use your map and compass for this one. But got a bit of a bridge, so we're obviously on a path. So we get a nice panoramic view from centre screen. That's the disused farm building that we passed. So I headed over the moors, picked up this path. We can just see centre screen, come up through the gate and just appreciating this wonderful scenery. Being helped on our way by the friendly sheep, and we'll continue to head north for the time being before we skirt round the side of the hill ahead of us and head back over to the far side of the valley. You can just see in the haze. Beautiful day out in the fells here. Well, we've come down off the crag and we're got some beautiful views here across Ingram Valley. Just heading along the side of this fence here, just across the fell, and we're eventually going to be pulling around and drop down onto the road, and then we're going to head up the other side over to Hartside. Well, we've just come down off the fells over there in the distance behind us, off the crag, and headed over the fell side, and we've got down here to Hartside. Behind us, a mile and a half up the road, is actually an spout, but we're not going to be heading there today. So ahead of us we've got some signs for public footpath. We're going to be heading over the fields and over the fells on the right, which is to our south. Here we go. Can you see that? Allen Moors, half a mile. So let's see where that gets us to. What a great view looking back. We can see the crag which you came around when you dropped off, came down into the valley, and we've got Hartside Farm ahead of us. It's always nice to have a look back and see where you've come from. You get a bit of a sense of achievement. So we're looking east along towards our start point, and then we've got the path ahead of us. So we're going to be going a bit further south before we head south. We head east. We're heading south at the minute, and head off down in that direction behind the hill ahead of us into the next valley. So we've taken the path along the side of the river Breamish here. Beautiful walk along just with the path in the background, and we're picking up a trail now and heading up, and we're going to be heading up towards the hill, which we can see straight ahead of us there. As ever with these walks, it's worth just stopping occasionally and looking behind you. The views are just spectacular up the valley here. Anyhow, we're continuing on up the path through the gate here, around the top of these trees, heading up over the hills. We've come up the side of the forest area here as we walked along the stream. As we came up on our right, there's a coppice area with a farmhouse there, Chester's I believe it's called. See some of the devastation in those trees there. So our path now, as we can see ahead of us, there's a gate off to the left through here. This could be interesting because I suspect there'll be quite a few trees that will have been taken out by the winds the back end of 2001. But let's see where we get to and how far we get. Hopefully the path will be pretty well trodden. So we've come down the path. It's pretty well defined actually, and we can see ahead of us here the path goes through where there's trees down. So we're going to have to make a bit of a detour This is Chester's Burn, but it looks as if the path has been used on the other side. So we'll see how we get on and I'll report on the other side. Well, that wasn't too bad. We got through underneath the trees there. You can just hear the burn on our left here. We obviously on the right track because we've got a very well maintained bridge to head on over, and we've got the stream, the burn, just meandering away through the trees there. Come across the other side and we've got a gate with all the path directions on. It's really good. So it looks as if we're climbing up a wee bit up onto the top of the hill here. Well, we've just climbed out of the valley, across the bridge, and we've been rewarded with the most fantastic view. Got a little bit more to climb, but here it is, the view up Ingram Valley there, with that headland on the far side, which we climbed before. So since leaving the wooded area, we just followed the track around the side of the high point, which is on our left, and we come up to some trees on our right, a dry stone wall, and just over the crest here, we're looking back down into Ingram Valley, and that pretty much appears to be Ingram, pretty much centre of screen ahead of us. Well, we've just come down off the fell, back down into the valley of Ingram, and see the river meandering ahead of us there. We are going to be picking up the road in about the next couple hundred metres. When we get on the road, we want to turn right and head back along towards Ingram itself and the car. Well, that concludes the walk today. What a great walk it's been. Been up in the Northumberland National Park in Ingram Valley. If you like what we do, why not hit the subscribe button and hit the bell as well. It really does help us. And let your fellow walkers know. They might be interested in the videos and also in the information available on the website, planwatchwalk.guide. All the guides are in there, all the mapping's in there. So until the next one, bye for now.